Hello, everybody. We're starting staring off the back of Adriana's head.
So, as I suddenly realized my whole bag was just like hanging away.
I'm like, you ready to go? She's like, ready to go. And then
I'm like, yeah, all of a sudden. Nope.
turns around. Anyway, hi, everybody. So we've got some interesting stuff going on today, and I figured I'd have Adriana join me. Just thought it'd be kind of fun to do some world building together rather than just me dictating everything, because that's kind of how these games are meant to be played, at least in my opinion, a little bit more collaboratively. Oh, major echo. Okay. Thank you for telling me. That's interesting. Oh, because I probably yep, I do.
Okay.
I know exactly what's causing that. Sorry about that. We'll mute this one, and now that's all set. So I had the
better.
Yeah, that should be all set. Let me know, guys, in the chat. But I think we'll bigger epic echo. Yes. So once we've gotten no more echo, well done. Yeah, I've gotten real good at solving problems on the fly here. So
Live streaming will do that too.
Oh my gosh, it's like it never ends. Anyway, hi Adriana. Thanks for joining tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and thank
I
you.
was banned from the last world building episode.
That's true.
So I'm excited to get to be part of this one.
Yeah, well, I have no idea if the group's going to end up in Glendraconic is what we called it. But if you do, I didn't want you to be too spoiled on things. But in this case, if you end up here, it's not a big deal. And some of the items that I kind of want to talk about and go over are things that I think would be somewhat known to, especially actually this reason I asked you, your character being kind of a historian / researcher / adventurer, would probably know a bit more about this area than others. So let's kind of go into, I'll give you guys the general overview of the area and what I had in mind when I created it, and then we can go from there. So actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over from this map, which I'm just kind of tossing things around the screen right now, so don't mind that. I'm going to switch over to, one sec. Of course, I was doing so many of these little things last minute. All right, so we've got Dimidium on the map here, and there's an area called Falistar. Now, Falistar is on the southern, it's in the Southern Ocean. I believe this ocean does not actually have a name, at least not as far as I know, but we can always make that up. But the idea with Falistar is it's named because it was an atoll created by a falling star, or a giant crater under the ocean. So that's what this is from, and there's some lore having to do, again, with Uros, but we'll keep that to ourselves at the moment. But I wanted to go over some of the locations on Falistar. I forget exactly what this is. I know it's called an atoll, but I believe an atoll includes the islands that surround the giant hole.
Right.
This was inspired, so I've been a diver most of my life, and I went scuba diving on the Big Blue Hole, which is a location in Belize, I believe, where it's one of the deeper places in the Caribbean, and it's like a big atoll that surrounds this giant blue hole. And I went diving down. It's called a wall dive, where you kind of go over the side of a cliff, and you can't see the bottom. Now, in the place that I was, if you looked really, really hard, probably about 250 feet down, you could start to see the bottom. And but even then, you could tell that it kind of just went out a little bit further and then dropped again. Yeah, so a little crazy. And so I started thinking, I'm like, it was one of the cooler places I've dove, and I wanted to create something like that in Dimidium. So Falistar is that location.
Did they have any idea what created that one?
It would be just some sort of giant space rock hitting us. Yeah. So
oh wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, so I'm going to interrupt my own self and just say hey to everybody in the chat who decided to join us tonight. So, hey, everybody. David, EJ, EMC, Steve, James, a lot of familiar faces. That's great. Bikini Atoll has a big hole like that too, but it was definitely man-made. Yeah, good point. And I don't think I'd want to go diving in there unless I'm looking to meet Blinky from The Simpsons. So, But anyway, so there's a few locations here that I already put on the map. Looks like one of them decided to turn about 45 degrees. Can you see the map at all, Adriana? I know I sent you the file. Hey,
Yeah,
Mike.
I've got the file pulled up and I've got it fuzzy on my phone so that I can know what we're looking at.
Perfect.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So right now, let me tell you the few things that I have in mind for this location, and then we'll make up some more together. And we'll throw some actual things on the map, and we can name them if we want to, and we could do all this stuff. So there are two major towers here. Actually, sorry, three major towers, and those are, I can't really ping OBS, but if you look on kind of the top middle, there's what is basically a human tower, and then on the far right there's an elven tower, and on the bottom right there's a dwarven tower. And I wanted to make it so that there were essentially three major races that were researching this location. And I kind of thought in my head that if somebody were to get to the very bottom of this crater, there would be some sort of magical minerals hanging out from whatever crashed into the planet, or something like that. So the humans, the elves, and the dwarves had some interest in researching this area and diving down there, and I'm sure there's going to be gnomes involved in helping to create some diving gear. But yeah, so that's kind of what I had in mind for that. There's a little bit more, but I guess I just don't want to talk the whole time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the dwarves make a lot of sense being there. I mean, mining is kind of their thing.
That's a good point. And maybe rather than jumping down into the water, maybe they're trying to dig a hole straight down or something like that.
Yeah, straight through the land part.
I kind of like that, actually. I'm going to take the little note. So dwarves trying to dig straight down, which we've all learned from Minecraft is a bad plan. So, have you ever played Minecraft, Adriana?
I actually haven't.
No? Okay.
I kept seeing it all over the place, and the graphics are so awful that
It's
I don't know if I could get into it.
It's a pretty fun game. I used to play it a lot, and then when my wife was pregnant, the music in it's very calming. So I used to play it when my wife was pregnant. She would like fall asleep on the couch while I'd play it. And then now that my oldest daughter's 8, her and I started playing it together, and I'm just like, wow, it's wild getting back to it.
It's full circle.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of fun. So pinch hitters, cheers all, watching while I get ready to fill in for Whiskey Crusaders. Oh, okay, cool. You're going live tonight.
Okay.
Nice, awesome.
Nice.
So let's talk about the elves and the humans. So
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the humans, I think they would probably be the ones making the best use of gnomish engineering. At least that seems to me. But what do you think the elves would be doing?
I mean, I wonder if they'd be more interested in the magical use of whatever might be around. Because I imagine even if it's concentrated at the bottom of the hole, you know, just like the Great Salt Lake, like there's a lot of minerals all along the edge that they could be.
That makes a lot of sense.
Accumulating and playing around with how to use it.
Sure. So maybe the elves, they were the first ones there, and gathered remnants from the beach for studying. Maybe we could even say that the elves are more interested in purchasing anything that the players, or let's just assume players, they're more interested in purchasing things that whomever finds rather than necessarily delving for it themselves. All right. I like that. Purchase.
Yeah, dwarves and humans are kind of competing at how to gather it all up and make profit out of it.
And I kind of like the idea that, you know, the elves in general may be a little bit more wealthy than the other two, although the dwarves would have plenty of money, but they're in it to go deep. Maybe that could have even been what attracted them to the area. In it.
I felt like mining something new would very much attract some adventurous new dwarves.
I agree.
Want to do something different. Rebel dwarves.
Rebel dwarves. Just readjusting some of our screens so that we can look at Falistar and the note screen at the same time. So I'll kind of put this...
Nice.
Yeah, that's not going to quite work, but we'll go like this. All right. So, anybody watching, if you have any sort of adjustments that you need made, just tell me, because I'm winging it and it's fun, but I want to make it entertaining too. All right, and if you have any ideas in the chat, throw them out there, because who knows, it might make it into the game. I will say that Falistar was chosen by one of our patrons. I kind of threw it out there earlier today. Hey, what area of the world looks interesting? And I'll have to double check. I want to say it was David, but I don't want to name the wrong person. So I'll take a look at that real quick. Of course, Patreon does not make it easy to have two separate things. They do not make it easy to have two separate Patreons, but that's all right.
Oh.
Yeah, it was David. Okay,
Patreon
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
Patreon is not the best app.
I know, right?
Yeah, it was David. Yep.
Yeah. It kills me as an engineer, because I look at it, I'm like, I could do so much better, but it's all the relationships with the banks and stuff that they have that I can't just replace.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So then again, my full-time job has a lot to do with banks, and I probably have contact information for the right people, but oh well. Anyway, so let's
need another side project.
I know, right? I sure do. My wife would kill me. Yeah, one of them has to actually make decent money before she'll let me do it again. So, all right. So, all right. So the humans, gnomish engineering to dive down into the water. So the dwarves are in it for the challenge of getting kind of to the bottom of the earth, or of Dimidium. I always struggle with what to call that, because earth is kind of a general term for like dirt underneath your feet, but probably not on other planets. All right. So the elves are more interested in purchasing the ore, which we should come up with a fun name for the ore.
Oh.
Yeah, how's your you see, yeah, you're kind of like a scientist person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably
that's the problem. I'm a science person, not a creative writing person.
Fair enough. Okay, so then and so let's come up, let's try to, well, let's define a little bit more of what's on this I don't want to say continent, because it's definitely not a continent. So let's call it just an island, or an atoll. So something that we talked about, you and I, is turtles. Now, turtles are a creature in D&D, which you can see here. Sorry, I'm trying to let's do this. I want to throw it up on the screen.
In the chat is saying like Falistar, which made me think of like Falistone. But I was also thinking about trying to incorporate like the word peat in there.
That Falapete, Peatastone. Yeah, I feel a little close.
Yeah, I like Falistone more.
Falistone is actually pretty. I feel like that's pretty good. So he said Falistor. I like Falistor. I like Falistone better personally.
Yeah.
Let's call it Falistone for the moment. Falistone. And we'll have to come up with what Falistone will, like, it's got to have some kind of cool property. So we'll have to come up with that in a little bit. Minerals mined from the crater are known as Falistone. Cool. I like it. All right. Nice. So turtles. Let's talk turtles. Turtles are exactly kind of what they sound like. They are giant turtles. Now, there's all kinds of fun stuff about turtles that, as far as playing them as a race, like they have higher AC because they've got a shell. I believe that they can actually increase their AC by 2 by like tucking their head down into their shell, like Ninja Turtle style. But then they can't see anything. And then they don't live very long either. They live till they're like 30. And they tend to wander the world, at least in the D&D lore. They could do anything in our world. But
yeah,
some of those things.
I saw they can hold their breath for an hour, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Young Master Ugo, exactly. Yes. Now I liked the idea of them totally sounding like beach bums. Like I originally actually there was a spot that the Mighty Maiden was able to get to based off certain roles that would have introduced them to the turtles very early on. But none of that happened, so we'll save that for another time. But the turtles need a place to live, and I'm curious. If you look at the map, there's a couple of places I like, but I'd like to let you pick. Where do you think these turtles would make their home?
I mean, I feel like maybe that little kind of
The nub.
cove in the northeast,
Okay, the
kind of
actual
thing.
cove, or the big part,
Yeah,
or
like
just
kind of
yeah.
yeah, just like I guess bordering around that cove might be where they would have their meetups. Plus, that is an area where the water would be protected for the babies
That makes sense.
because
Cool.
like what I saw online was that they basically kind of meet like build a home later in life, a little bit before dying, have their babies,
Hmm.
and they only last like a year after the babies are born. So it's like super protected for that 1 year, and then that's why they're so adventurous because they're very much unprotected and have to go out on their own at a young age.
Yeah, I like it.
Like a little
Um,
cove like that would make sense.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So I'm actually gonna be using Incarnate here to add items to our map as well. I know you can't necessarily
Oh,
see it,
nice.
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I don't want to give them a human location because that doesn't make any sense. So I'll just give them this little thing. They are going to have a little town, and maybe I'll go with something later. So the turtles are going to live kind of on the eastern side of that cove, in between a few of the trees. That'll be where they have. So I believe that they don't have like a town, but because they have, I think that they're going to somehow be involved with either gathering some of the stuff, or maybe they grew from something that's in the Falistone. Maybe they were
Ooh,
originally turtles, and we've got like a Secret of the Ooze thing going on here. So
I like that idea.
nice,
That
awesome.
sounds cool.
All right, so
I like that a lot.
normal turtles grew into turtles, um, because of the Falistone magic. We'll call it magic.
Which
Uh,
could help in developing the ideas of what Fallistone can be used for,
true.
I think.
Oh, hold on one sec. They're saying, anyone else having problems with lots of stuck and buffering? Is it just me? Uh,
Yeah.
let's see what the stream's doing. No, it looks okay on the stream, that I have the preview of. So I'm gonna say, give it a minute, or possibly it's just you guys. But for the moment, let me
Because
know
I'm
if it
watching
continues
it.
to be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching it on my phone on data
Mm-hmm.
to save my internet as much as possible, and I haven't had any buffering.
Okay.
Um, so
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye out for it now.
Well, that's good. So we need a name for the Turtles town. And unless you have any good ideas, Adriana, I'd love to hear from the chat.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? So if you have a group, so I want to kind of help define this. So turtles in general don't make a town. They have a place that maybe they go routinely to have their babies, or after they've had their fun in the
Yeah.
world, they'll come back to. Name for Turtles Town meetup. Oh, you put that.
I
Okay.
was just putting in the chat in case
That's fine.
people's buffering makes it hard to know what the topic is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ballastone could be analogous for uranium, hence the giant blast hole. Okay. That kind of gives me
radiation.
some interesting ideas why maybe the gnomes are in it for more than just helping. Maybe they'd like to get some of it for themselves, bring back to what is it called? Oh my gosh. Ed's going to kill me. What is it? Hobblehaven. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So what would we call a town full of turtles? So Shellbrook, Shell something, or
Is there like
Turtle
a
Town.
Scot? I feel like a Scotch
Yeah,
turtle
there you
town.
go. Yeah.
Like
Let's
if there's like
see.
a Scotch name that we could do a play on
Scott
words with.
based. Well, let's see. Turtle
What?
whiskey. Caramel turtle.
Whiskey.
Ballatin caramel turtle. Oh, people are making it based off caramel turtles, like the candy. That's interesting.
Uh,
Hmm.
well, I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
like kind of what y'all did with the dragons with the Glen Dragonock or something. He said,
Yep.
uh,
Glen Draconic.
One draconic. There we
Yeah.
go.
Which, by the way, I think you've heard about this. Their Orkney Isles are right here.
I did see that. I thought that was kind of great.
Awesome. I was so happy with myself when I came up with that.
Pretty perfect.
So, okay. So let's think. So we have, what would be, maybe it could be like a lock
Bottle?
something. All right. A group of turtles is called a bale or a ball.
Oh.
Yeah. Bale.
Art bale?
Art bale. Balentines. So,
Balentines.
oh, let's see. Bale cones. Bale coves. Bale.
Oh.
That one hurts me a little bit. The puns can only be so bad.
I don't know. You and Ed really like some pretty.
I love puns.
Pretty intense puns.
Right. Name for Turtle Town. So we still need that. That's cool. We can spend some time on it, but I don't want to drag it out too much.
I do like the idea of bale somehow incorporated into that though.
Okay. Possibly
so
using bale.
Yeah.
A group of turtles. Okay. Falistar's Dark Cove. Falistar's Dark Cove. Oh, that's kind of good. However, I do think that maybe Falistar has some sort of underground caverns, and we'll have to make use of Dark Cove in that case.
Yeah, that could work there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think what else. What else can make this? So one thing that I've always struggled with a little bit when creating this world is I never feel like I make it magical enough. Like I need to pull myself more out of reality and more fantastical. So what could we put in here that would make it a little like nuts? Like this whole area is filled with this mineral, which is crazy. So maybe like periodically the water just erupts vertically for some reason, or maybe something like that.
See.
Or instead of tides, or it recedes, or something like that.
Or like an aurora borealis, but like in the water.
Ooh, I like that. So like maybe the bioluminescent stuff in the water got really large. Or something like that. I like that idea. Let's
like it. Maybe at certain times it shifts in colors and kind of has like a whole gradient thing that it does.
Yeah.
That would look cool.
Underwater.
Flock of turtles.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I like it.
Whenever I hear flock, I always think of an old Brian Regan bit where he did like a flock of moosin. He was does this sound familiar to you? No. He was. No. I won't do it justice. But the whole thing was he was talking about when he was in school. He was learning about what pluralization of certain animals was. He was like, if you have like ox, you have oxen. So if you have moose, you should have moosin, and then you could have a flock of moosin. So yeah.
It should be meese. You could have a flock of meese.
It should be meese or I don't know, sheeps and I don't know. Yeah. Have you ever seen a moose in person by any chance?
Yes.
Oh,
I
I'm
almost
jealous.
walked into one not that long ago. It was awesome.
You almost walked into one?
It was yeah, it was in the trail and I was coming down and other people were already stopped coming up and saw me and they were like, "Stop, there's a moose." And I was 5 feet away from it because it was right around the bend.
Wow.
And it just stared up at it stopped grazing and looked up at me and I just kind of slowly backed away and was
right.
Cool, we're good.
We're cool.
You do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. Just chilling.
I like that.
Yeah, they're amazing. Moose are I've wanted to run into one forever, so it was really cool that I finally just almost walked into one.
I think that's awesome.
But also, I feel like we need there could be a traveling bard group called Flock of Turtles.
I like that. How do you spell atoll? Is it just ATOLL? I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm doing some AI generated artwork for this because it's just fun. Atoll surrounded by islands. giant blue hole in the middle of water. Several towers surrounding the water. And then bioluminescence in the water. Let's see what that comes up with. All right, cool. We'll go back
and
to
it
this.
sounds like they tend to have a lot of coral,
Mm-hmm.
so that could be incorporated in with the bioluminescence, or with, I don't know, or with actually maybe the elves are harvesting the coral because some bits of the Falistone get into the coral as it grows.
How about, what if some of the coral has grown so large because of the Falistone that it's grown out of the water, and when the wind blows, it blows through the coral and it makes some sort of music or something like that?
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be super cool.
I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Coral grows so large that it sticks out of the water, and it's like, I don't want to say it's like wind chimes, but like some sort of wind instrument. We can refine that later. Yeah, I like that. And then
it could be like one of the wonders of this world, sort of thing.
I think
singing corals of Falistar.
Ooh, that's really good. I'm writing that down. Singing corals of Falistar. Cool. That's great. I like that. We should I shouldn't say we, because I don't necessarily want it to be we, because I want you guys to discover things, but this looks cool. It would be cool to have like a series of wonders of the world, and just let you guys, like the what is it, the Titanic chasms would be one of them for sure. Which is where you found that dagger of Alcarn.
Yeah, that's where I found the blade.
Yeah. The coastal blowhole.
Callum could totally have like explored a bunch of the wonders of the world.
Totally. Yeah, actually, I think that would make some sense. And that could be one of your goals. Maybe that's your overarching thing, is to see the whole world.
Hit all the Okay, I'm writing this down.
I like it. So I liked one of the AI generated things. I'm making it larger, and I'm going to throw it up on the screen once it's done rendering. Okay, so I'm going to grab some coral, maybe, if I can. Coral. Nah, they don't have it on this one, but I'm going to put it from the Fantasy HD.
Is there a word for wonder that starts with a D? Like, so it'd be like the D's of Dimidium. Delights.
Ooh, it does sound corny, but synonym.
It sounds like food.
For wonder. Odd, astonishment, ponder. No, nothing like that.
Yeah.
The marvels of Dimidium. I don't know.
Yeah, that could work. Musical. Is it? Oh, singing.
I love coastal blowhole. It's just so stupid. So
I feel like that has to be a sarcastic line by somebody now. Like when you visit, it's like, some other jerk's coming here to see the coastal blowhole.
I feel like Jason would just randomly say that without having any prompting.
Absolutely. Yep. He'd go in his full New Yorker voice, and that would end up being a thing.
So I don't know if you can see the stream. I know you can, but I just threw up this AI generated thing. It's a little wild. Like it kind of is what's the word? Inspiring me to think about this. Like, so the moon is out, and there's this coral sticking out that the water has receded away from the coral. So maybe something like that. Maybe like periodically the water just completely recedes, and then that's when you get this coral chorus, or whatever we called it, singing corals of Falistar. I think that's super cool.
I love that. That would be really cool, that at certain times the water totally recedes from it.
Yeah.
And so the dwarves are working on like developing a system where they can hit it efficiently in that time.
Yeah. Actually, that could, and maybe that maybe that is the best way to get deep down towards where there's some sort of a base camp that's been set up underneath where the water doesn't refill. All right, let's try to do that. So during I'll do a thing, let's say like the full moon, which doesn't necessarily have to be the case. The water recedes completely and exposes the coral, which does the above, and we call it the singing corals of Falistar. this could also open up a path for, let's say, 12 hours, where you can get down deep towards the, I guess it would be a meteorite. Meteorite. I mean, presumably, assuming it would be a rock because it's Falistone.
Yeah.
Meteorite. Yep. Cool. And then we'll just say like normal creatures are much bigger down here. So whatever you guys fight, it's gonna be a lot bigger.
Oh, great. That's not good for Talon. Or Agnomeio.
Yeah, definitely not Agnomeio. All right, blowholes are kind of like geysers, but caused by wave surging. Yeah, actually, there's a place. It's in Hawaii called like something blowhole, and I remember seeing that, and I was like I think I was like 13 or 12, like very much watching Beavis and Butthead at the time, so just like constantly be like, blowhole, just stupid,
giggling all the way
the whole time. Cool. All right, so let's go back to our picture of whoops, that's not what I wanted. Of Falistar. And the turtles are still hanging out on the side there. All right, so I'm just going to bring this up for people to see. Throw that behind our faces so that way I can... There we go. All right. So, like the original Disney Rescuers movie where they sent Penny down for... Yeah, actually, I forgot about that, but you're totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about that too. Yep.
I did too, yeah. That was a movie. That movie's like too creepy for me to want to show my kids. Like it's the Secret of Nim
with her gator is weird.
Like I freaking love The Secret of Nim, but that movie is scary. I think.
Yeah. What was the one with that was it Watership Down?
I don't think I
the
saw
one with
that
the rabbits.
No, I don't think I saw that
creepy.
one. Watership Down.
They're like the rabbits are killing each other.
Oh.
That's all I remember about it. It was like horrible.
Down.
It's really sad.
Huh. No, I don't know this movie. Oh, yeah. They're like real. Oh, there was an animated one too.
There was an older one though.
Yes, this does look a little familiar. Yeah, that is creepy. Huh. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of ones you don't want your kids to watch, that's one. We watched it in school. Probably not a great choice by that teacher.
That's pretty. Things used to be so much easier, but anyway, we used to be able to traumatize children way easier.
No problem.
So we have this spot that you and I talked about, the Tides of Carlery, which I'm feeling like, as I mentioned, it sounds Irish. It sounds like it should have a drinking song or something. And it connects the Violent Plateau over to Falistar. So I'm trying to... Oh, whoops, sorry. The people at home can't see this because I didn't... I'm doing it on the wrong screen. Let's go over to here. Or here? Nope. Here. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it's behind the window. There it is. Okay. Sorry. So we've got the Violent Plateau with titanic chasms, and then you cross the Tides of Carlery, and then you get over to Falistar. I'm trying to think of what... Maybe a land bridge or something. Why did I call it the Tides? It's more of a strait, but maybe it's called the Tides because when the tide is out, you can cross over without needing a boat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And actually, if I fiddle with the map a little bit, I can make it a little bit more obvious. I could put like some rocks kind of jutting out of it so that you couldn't take a ship.
Mm-hmm. You have to wait for the tides to be out.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. I don't remember where anything is in these. It's been a while since I've done the main map. And they've changed everything around. Let's do this. Spire. Is that a thing? Nope. It begins with a K, I believe. Oh, they totally changed everything around. All right, I'll do it later. I don't...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to...
getting myself oriented, and now I see where we are. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know. Things are different. Like, I should just share my screen with you, but... Oh, well.
Oh, it's fine.
Yep.
No, it's all good.
All right, kill it. let me just look a little bit because it would be nice to do this while we're doing it. Decorations.
Falistar jokes. Oh boy.
Fantastic. Like everybody else is better at thinking of that stuff than I do. Or if I were playing, I would absolutely be the one doing that too. So I shouldn't.
We're leaving. It's a perfect spot for some Ed humor and Jason.
Yes.
Build off of.
So I'm just gonna go over here and I'm gonna grab one of these from what is it called? The Rift of Qualis, and I'm gonna throw it in the water and change the color of it. Boom. All right. So I wish you could see what I was doing.
Would there be any like natives on the other side, like little native towns or communities on the other side of the tides?
On the other side of the tides. So like
by the Violent Plateau and Titanic Chasms, like along the coast.
Probably. Well, let's think. So I don't have anything about that area figured out. Gotcha. other than that I considered it to be kind of a barren wasteland. But that doesn't mean that people don't live there. Maybe Goliath,
like a trade center kind of thing or something. Like kind of picturing like Tatooine, where like there's not a lot of people out there trading, but there might be. What are those guys called?
Like Tusken Raiders.
No, not the. Wait, is it the Tusken? No, it's the little ones that are doing.
Oh, the Jawas. Yeah.
Jawas, that's it. Something like that. That they're in a very barren area, but I imagine all the people on Falistar need to get resources and trade from somebody.
That's a good point.
And maybe that'd be more regular than a boat.
Yeah. And so looking at the map, so there's a couple of orcish camps that I put in that area. In general, in Dimidium, wherever there's like badlands or somewhere that's hard to live, the orcs they do really well there.
That makes sense.
I don't necessarily know why, but they do. So they're there, but so they would need to trade, or possibly just be a impediment for people to trade. From let's see, so further to the west, there's like some human civilizations, but they have to cross mountains and stuff. So I'll have to give that some thought because Avera tends to be very heavy with humans. Lithuan's pretty heavy with elves, and then Akari is a lot of the other races, including the dwarves. Mm-hmm. So nomadic caravan of traders. Yeah, there could be caravan traders. I like that. All right.
Because actually, that kind of fits the analogy of like the Jawas are the traders, and then the orcs are kind of like the Tusken Raiders. So screwing things up. So you could still have nomadic traders, even though orcs are very much prevalent.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make some notes about the tides of Carlery. So when the tide goes out, a land bridge is revealed. That allows travel from the Violent Plateau to Falistar. However, the orcs are heavy in this area. Now, our orcs are still a fairly civilized race, so I'm not going to say that they're just going to like kill everybody, but I do think that they're going to charge like a toll. Pretty much pay us or die. So,
yeah.
So they take a toll or trade for caravans to travel the Violent Plateau. Cool. I think that's all. I had no idea there. I like doing this world building stuff because I didn't know any of this stuff. All I knew is that there was a big meteorite at the bottom of that hole. So
I like it. And maybe turtles would be around.
Yes, and I knew turtles were going to be in the area. Yep. So one thing that I always loved is the Slumberous Depths, which the patrons will know and have gotten most of the story about that. But that at the bottom of the Slumberous Depths is where Uros originally was. That's why it's called the Slumber. He was sleeping down there. And I love that all of the trade routes kind of don't go over it. So I'm excited that maybe someday you guys will go down there, but we'll see. I don't I have some ideas, but not nearly as many as I should. But I do think it probably would be a fun time. So
the blue dotted lines are like already set up trade routes.
Correct. Yep.
That's the idea, right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
So the blue dotted are for the ships, and the whites are for walking across land.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense that they would, even though you could think that they might get trade via the water,
Mhm.
because the slumberous depths are in the way. They have to get it through land, which means higher rates, I imagine, because it's slower and you got to deal with orcs.
Exactly. Yep. So actually, you just kind of reminded me. So yeah, you do have that trade route by ship to the south, which does go directly to Falistar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best one. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to take the pathing tool here, and I'm going to make a path. Whoops, I don't want blue. I want white. Going through the Tides of Carlery. All right, so we're going to free draw this up a couple levels. There we go. And this goes, boom, to the turtles. Cool. All right, so that exists.
Nice.
Yeah. So, let's deviate from our path for a minute here. So, Talin, being the adventurer that she is, I love this idea of the wonders of the world kind of thing. So I'm actually going to make a new note here, and the ones that you've visited so far are going to be the ones that we're going to focus on. So wonders of the world. So we have the Titanic Chasm. We have Falistar.
Yep.
I'm gotta think. Well, why don't you take a look around at the map and tell me what you think? There's a few that stick out to me as being fairly obvious, and there doesn't have to be a set number of them. We could kind of do whatever. But I think there's a few that would be kind of cool to see.
All right.
Jason Busey likes Orkney Islands. Yeah, Jason.
Of course.
So, Jason, you would have missed it, but the last time we did a world building, when we talked about an area that Dragonborn live called Glen Dragonic, which is over here. So, thought you'd appreciate that. Anyway, so what? Anything sticking out to you?
I am slowly zooming in across everything. That'd be cool. Oh, but I don't know anything. Oh, I just found North Forge, though, that was referenced in the other one.
What was that?
But I imagine I just found North
Forge. Oh, the North Forge? Yep.
On the map.
Yeah. So that's Beneth Besmedan up here. Yep. And the ancient white dragon lives up in these peaks up here, right near it.
That's so cool. I was looking up for somewhere cold, basically, that she might have been.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe up in what is that? Silmdel?
Where is this? I'm sorry.
Silmdel? It's
near Silindel.
Yep. Forge, but
Yep. It should probably have an apostrophe. I'm gonna throw an apostrophe in there. Like Sil.
Yeah.
Silin. I would think it should be after the L. Silindel.
Yeah, that would help you know that there's a syllable there.
Yeah. There we go. All right, there's an apostrophe now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what's in Mastic?
So Mastic is, so you guys had an so by the way, just for anybody watching, which I see a lot of the same names, but just in case anybody cares, spoilers abound for stuff that's already happened. We're just going to talk about things matter of factual. So Talin doesn't necessarily know this because you weren't on the ship, but Adriana does. So when Demigal came down, she traded with Captain Squall for a spear. That was held by it was an elf that fought in the Battle of Mastic. So Mastic is kind of it is a crumbling city that is no longer populated except by undead. So this whole area, the land across here, and you could see that there's like something kind of traveling underwater off to that island as well. The whole area is like there's like a blight on the land, and undead and other good fun stuff is in there.
Oh, I don't think she's been there then.
No, I wouldn't think she would have been
Yeah.
there. Somewhere that
Yeah.
I do think that so like Beneth Besmedan might be one of those wonders as being like the northernmost settled location in the world, but that doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
I've mentioned in the past that Windia, which is to the south, has what are they called? Aarakocra, which are these bird people. And they kind of do some stuff where they fly off the cliffs, and we might get there someday. I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah.
There's Vita Mons, which is like the mountains of life. So let's see.
Nice.
I mean, I could go through all of these, but
Yeah.
the Titanic Chasms, definitely. The floating islands that are kind of in the top middle of Lithuan would probably be one as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
But-
so I would definitely think she would have been there.
I do not have a name for that place yet, but
The floating islands.
yeah.
Because I can imagine her coming across that trading route up there and coming down towards, to the Titanic Chasms. So that's how she's been to both of these. I mean, there's a temple just north of the Titanic Chasms. So I'm trying to think of something like a temple, a pyramid kind of thing.
Oh,
Like
okay,
the
I see.
actual Seven Wonders of the World.
Yeah, right. Yep. I tried to do so. One of the things that everybody will tell you when you're creating a map like this is put stuff that you have no idea what's there,
Yeah.
and figure it out later.
Yeah.
Which I totally will. But at the moment,
Yeah.
that place was originally kind of thought to be similar to where you are now, but it's going to be different. So it's a much larger ziggurat like temple structure than what you're currently getting towards.
Yeah.
In the Bush of Jilariel.
'Cause I could see something being there, or in Windia where those bird people are. Like I could definitely imagine bird people having a very cool, like carved in, almost like what's it
Easter
called?
Island?
Mount Rushmore kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
something like that. Like something like high up though is what I'm thinking. Like in the cliffs, like that they'd be up high in the cliffs, so that they have something sort of built into high up in the cliffs, not somewhere down low where we would normally think of like temples kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they roost on the cliffs off to the west. So, despite having like houses, they prefer to do that for some reason because they're freaking birds. So
they have like a mix, or maybe it's like the Holy Cliffs or something that used to be like their homes before they started building houses.
yeah, maybe. Actually, that's a good idea. I do kind of like that. So then, I think the Disintegrated Peaks would have to be one of them.
Oh yeah. Wait, sorry.
Integrated Peaks. Same with Volantis, which is like a floating city filled with mages. So I'm thinking about like definitely we need to name them, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have been there. I also think the Oasis of Serpents would be one just because it's like a a shape in the world that looks like a serpent. So it feels very, very wonder of the world kind of thing to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And now she'll have been there.
And now what?
And now she'll have been there.
Yeah.
On their way there, kind of thing.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
It's funny. I was surprised. I think Ed said that he really wanted to go there. Somebody in the Patreon today said that they really wanted to learn about the Oasis of Serpents, and I'm like, all right, we'll see what's there. Maybe.
I feel like it could tie in.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
All right, so thinking back to Falistar, I'm trying to think if there's any other major things. I mean, part of me, as always, it's tough to do this publicly because it could potentially ruin some fun. So hold on one sec. So EMC Emily says birds often eat rock cuttlebone. Cuttlebone? I don't know, for calcium, while egg laying makes sense. Birds people would use it to carve too. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. I think, have you drank a little bit tonight, Emily? So, no, not judging. More jealous. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world?
You should. I do want to get you a theme song. Everybody else has one. But
They do?
Yeah, sort of. So I mean, when I did the original videos where I was introducing them, they all had a theme song, and Alessio's is the only one that I really ever use. But yeah, I should get you one too. It'd have to be something kind of like plinky, like.
Yeah. Yeah, like my first thought is like, you know, like when the hobbits are like partying kind of thing, you know, and drinking to yeah, like I could see music like that.
Yes. Either that or like the dogs that bark, you know, the Christmas music there. What is that?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's see what else. So we could either go back to Falistar, or we could talk a little bit more about the wonders of the world here.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of carvings done by the bird people.
All right, let me make a note about Windia here because I don't have one yet.
Yeah.
Windia. All right, so Windia, I actually named Windia after an old video game that I really liked called Breath of Fire.
Oh, nice. Nice.
One of the main characters was from the town called Windia, and she had wings. So, filled with Aarakocra, which may or may not need a new name. Depending, I don't know. I know that you're not as into this as I am, but this whole thing with the open gaming license that's been happening with D&D, I don't know if that passed normal people's purview. But they basically, like, there's a legal document that Wizards of the Coast put out forever ago that said, like, you could totally use our stuff, just not these certain things. And the long and the short of it is they're putting out a new version, which is going to make it so that making third-party content is going to be considerably harder, and you'll have to pay royalties to Wizards of the Coast. So a lot of people are pretty PO'd about it. You know, potentially justifiably so. Realistically, I think it's more... What do you call it? It's as like a what's the word? It's like a belief, you know, like it's mostly going to affect people who are making over like $750,000. So, which isn't a ton of people, but more it's the fact that they're going to be changing this at all, which is part of the problem because then they could change it further. You know, it's one of those slippery slope things, and the gaming license that they already had out there, I don't want to bore people, but yeah, it's a money grab. Oh, totally, Jason and David. Yeah, no, it's actually been really nice seeing what people have kind of stood up against this whole thing, and the fact that they are changing their tune. One thing that's sad, though, you know, a lot of people are saying we should drop your subscription to D&D Beyond, which unfortunately is like a really good piece of software, and I feel bad for the developers that work on it, but I get the concept. But a lot of people are saying that we should just not see the movie that's coming out, and I don't know that I'm in. I don't know that I'm in on that because I actually really want to see the movie. Like, I don't know. Maybe I won't go on opening day.
There you go.
So
just hurt him by delaying.
Exactly. So cliffs to the west have ancient carvings. So we'll say. So what was that thing that you said, Emily? Cuttlebone. I got to see if that. So it is Cuttlebone. Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Also known as cuttlefish bone, is a hard, brittle internal structure. Okay, so some sort of let's change it a little bit. So the cliffs to the west have ancient carvings. You had a cool name for it a minute ago, like where it was like their ancient roost. Like I thought you had a name for it, but I don't know. We can come back to that. Oh. So filled with Aarakocra, cliffs to the west have ancient carvings. I want to say that the cliffs are made of like a calcium kind of rock. Not calcium, but like calcite or something like that. And where they, by digging into the rock to create their roost, they automatically ingest the stuff that actually makes it easier for them to have their eggs or something like that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. And they keep like building up the carving, so that's how it's like become
exactly.
a wonder of the world.
Yeah, which provides nutrients they need for the shells of their eggs. Cool. Although we could make this a little bit cooler, and instead of just thinking about, this is where I always try to like, what else, what further. So instead of being like white eggs because they're having calcium or whatever, what about something totally different? Like maybe their eggs are made of some sort of other material that's like cooler looking. Like
okay, yeah, wait, this is the Echocria?
Yeah, the Aarakocra. Yeah, we're just all over the place. We're just
okay. Well, because now that made me think of the I was about to say the Squirtles, and I don't even play
the Tortles.
The Tortles.
Yeah.
That are near, that are like maybe have become Tortles because they're near the Falistar.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, their eggs might be kind of bizarre looking.
That's a good point.
We're thinking that the corals and like the bioluminescence in the water and stuff, that maybe their eggs like glow or have patterns or.
That's a good idea.
Cool.
Maybe there's some sort of what's the word? When two organisms work together, it begins with an S.
Symbiosis.
Like a symbiotic relationship between some of that bioluminescent material and their eggs. Like this is an interesting idea. So turtle eggs are laid but are fairly weak. They let's say that they lay the eggs underwater, which I understand in the real world would be a problem, but they lay the eggs underwater, and the bioluminescent, spelling this word over and over again, bioluminescent, let's just say algae for the moment, latches onto the eggs and solidifies, turning the eggs, making the eggs stronger, and turning the eggs into something that people trade to make jewelry. Like abalone shells, kind of.
Yeah, something insanely valuable now because it's so rare, and you're killing an animal in order to harvest it.
Yeah. So, EJ had a good idea. He said pyrite for the mineral that the Aarakocra have. That way the eggs themselves look like fake gold.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cliffs are made of pyrite, and that way, because pyrite, I was just looking at pictures of it, it forms in these like crazy cubic kind of shapes, which are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So maybe the cliffs actually kind of look like that. That's sweet. I like that a lot. Who came up with that? That was EJ. Nice job.
That was EJ.
Yeah, cliffs are made of pyrite, so the eggs are laid and look like they're made of gold. Very cool.
Batteries? I was reading Jason Busey's comment now about promethium.
Promethium, which is used in luminous plants and atomic batteries. Well, so Jason, I think you missed it. So the Falistar thing, this is an area where a giant meteorite hit the planet, and kind of came with this gem mineral thing that we called Falistone, and it's producing a lot of these crazy things in this area. So same idea, but yeah. And
that sort of idea.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could just keep going, but I also realize it's like 10:30, and I probably shouldn't. So, because you know what, this has been good though, because it's given me a lot of little ideas, and I think I'm gonna come up with a couple more little world wonders, because I love that concept. We kind of went all over the planet here. Double crit fail has Hasbro versus. Oh yeah, right. So anything else that came up in your mind about Falistar? Otherwise, maybe we'll call it a night.
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
The turtles, no.
The turtles. So I had this idea. I'll have to look back through my notes, but something about the turtles actually like go crazy far out into the ocean. That was actually how you guys were, or not you, but the other group was potentially going to meet them off the Mighty Maiden, and then live on these little islands. Which actually, I'm going to add a number of more little islands around Falistar, because I think just having this little atoll like this is not quite. I don't even want to say realistic, because who cares? But more just, I don't think it's what I want it to be. I want it to have like little tiny islands.
It would make sense for there to be just like tiny ones.
Yeah.
Like sandbars type things.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did just think of, something I saw about the turtles, they were talking about like they have like gathering places or like moots where they like, because they're such explorers, but they might come back together once a year and do like meetups where they exchange stories. So maybe they could have something that they do yearly at Falistar, back at the place we haven't named yet, but where, you know, they all get together. It's a huge like
surf competition.
And, yeah.
Surfing competition for sure.
Yeah, they're all surfing.
You know, actually, I was half saying that as a joke, but actually, if you think about it, maybe the tides of Carlerie, how they kind of recede and come back every day. When they do that, maybe there's just a giant wave, and maybe it only happens every month. Maybe that kind of lines up with the whole thing with the singing coral. So you can only get to the atoll here, to the Falistar atoll, once a month, unless you come by ship. So let's I like that. So let's see. Turtles will gather at their hometown yearly, if they can make it, because it's not the necessarily most important thing to them, for a great surfing competition. Yeah. They surf a wave that's created by the receding. No, I guess the ebb. I guess it'd be the flow. I don't know. By the waters of the tides of Carlerie. Neat. Is there something other than a surfing competition? Because what else could they do? What else would be fun? I mean, they'd cook and all that stuff. Cooking. Yeah, we'll have to give it a name.
Carnival. It's like now I'm starting to picture like a turtle carnival.
Carnival. Yeah. No, that's
Tortival.
Tortival. Cooking, telling stories of their travels.
Play like steel instruments.
Ooh, I like that. Steel instruments. Yes. Turtles not paying. Do they hunt? Do they forage? What do turtles eat? Yeah, it totally does have 1700s Jamaica type of violence. Yeah. The White Claw open up. So
the White Claw.
So what would turtles eat? I don't know. Like anything.
Yeah.
Let's see. They'd probably have like
plants.
I would think they'd be vegetarians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of plants.
Vegetarians. I mean, snapping turtles probably. What do turtles eat? Other than pellets. Animal products, vegetables, and fruits. So I guess maybe some meat, but I don't know. I think it's up to them. But vegetarians for most of them. Fish for some. Okay. Tortellini. That could be the name of their celebration. Is the tortellini? I don't know.
Yes.
Tortellini. I don't know. No, I hate it.
Tortellini night. Maybe that's like a dish though that they have to serve at that big celebration. Tortellini.
I like that. They definitely serve tortellini. There's no doubt about it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like this.
Tortellini. Stupid. I love it.
I feel like that is something that like they would try to go to, maybe a few times in their lifetime, but it's not like you have to come back every year for it.
Yeah.
They're explorers going all over, but it's just like a fun way they all come back as a community and share their stories and surf.
This is back to the tortellini thing because I'm just trying to make it real. So there's a type of pasta in the real world where they use I don't know if it's octopus or squid. I think it's squid ink to color the pasta, and it turns it black.
Yeah.
And it's it's a delicacy, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe something like that. Like maybe the bioluminescent stuff is not harmful. It's just there and it's cool. And maybe they make a version of pasta tortellini that incorporates it so the noodles themselves are shiny and all this stuff. And
or maybe when you cook it, it does because we're already thinking of it as, I don't know, something almost radioactive, making things grow or whatever. But maybe when you cook it, that like takes away that property, and now you can eat it
okay,
without any side effects, kind of thing. If you cook it a specific way, like what is it, blowfish?
Pufferfish. Pufferfish. Yeah. Same thing. Blowfish, pufferfish. Yeah.
As long as you cook it like a very specific way, then so they do that at that festival.
It's cooked. It's no longer. It loses its properties that make things large. Okay. Burben's. What the hell? What in the world?
What in the Dimidium world? What's this?
The Winter Tortillion celebration. Tortillion.
Ooh, I like tortillion.
Yeah. Tortillion. What is the real like cotillion? That's a thing. From some kids show that I watched with my kids.
Oh.
Cotillion.
I don't know.
Oh, cotillion. It's some sort of dance, social dance, popular in the 18th century. What the hell did I know that from?
Huh. No idea.
I don't know.
Never heard that.
Oh, you know what? I think it's a movie called Descendants, which is like, never mind.
Oh.
If you know, you know. It's kids.
Out of the loop.
Cotillion. Tortillion. I love it. That's good. Yeah, he said the winter tortillion. Yeah.
Now they have tortillas. Like, now I'm thinking more food.
And people are just angry about how stupid the puns are. Tortillas. Like tortellini. What else is there? Tortamasu. I don't know. Entry. Going out party were cotillions. Yeah. Okay. Entry. That's what. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Think more sushi than pasta, maybe. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I guess turtles wouldn't really eat pasta, other than it being called tortellini.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, you could do like a, like a seaweed thing kind of thing. Like they might use seaweed as their noodles, and then it becomes colorful when you boil it in the stuff from the whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Each piece just takes on a different color or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
now we're getting into like a turtle cookbook.
I know. I was just thinking that. I'm like, how many are we gonna come up with? It's gonna be like a minor note. It's like, oh yeah, there's some food if you'd like.
Yeah. Here's a bunch of recipes.
Yeah. Maybe the turtles have like awful human teeth. They just smile like her. Lettuce wraps would make sense. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'll add a few more islands here, but aside from that, I can only add them so small, unfortunately. Well, if I make them less, oh, there we go. Yeah.
Less islandy.
Yeah, like it. I'm actually excited. I'm gonna probably take this away and make a. Well, it's tough because like, when will you guys even be here, if ever?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like it's likely gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Consider they're kind of headed in a different direction and across the ocean.
That is part of it. I know I say this all the time, but the hour and a half things kill me because it's like I want to cover so much more ground. But then I write the recaps and I'm like, we did a lot of stuff in an hour and a half. It's kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
If we don't spend the entire time fighting, but yeah.
Yeah, it takes time to investigate and go into new places, interact with new people, and lizard folk.
I probably shouldn't be so upset about it because the amount of prep I do now is already a lot. So,
yeah, right. What if you had to prep for twice as long?
oh my gosh, it would be so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is pretty good. I had a good time. And thank you so much, Adriana, for coming. And thank you, everybody who showed up for the stream. Definitely come check out the Patreon if it's a thing you're into. And we could use some more patrons. And if nothing else, if you're watching this in the future and you feel like subscribing, we'd appreciate it. But other than that, come join us in the Discord, and you can see Adriana play a very short, shorter than even herself, halfling with
which is impressive.
with a mastiff / crocodile pet. So
yes, he's the cutest.
He is.
He's the cutest member of the group.
That is for sure. It's definitely not Ed's character. So Agnomeio.
No, he's way cuter.
All right. Well, goodbye, everybody. Have a great rest of your night, and cheers.
No, yeah.